Did Belkin finally create the best smart video doorbell for Apple users? Stay tuned and I'll let you know. Welcome everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and after debuting at CES 2022, I'm here with the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell. This is a HomeKit exclusive doorbell, and it supports Apple's HomeKit Secure video, which means all of its recordings are stored inside of iCloud and will require no additional subscription service for you to enjoy all of its features. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing, starting with design, move to setup, then go ahead and check out how it actually performs. Belkin's Smart Video Doorbell doesn't look all that dissimilar from a lot of the doorbells on the market. There's only so many things you can do with a large button, a speaker, and a camera. And Belkin's looks pretty similar to a lot of the other ones that we've already tested. What you have is a large 178-degree field of view camera up there at the top. We'll show you some day and night sample footage coming up so you can see how wide that footage is. Then we have a microphone towards the middle there, right below the camera bump. Then we have the IR sensors in the middle, so that's going to be used for motion detection as well as infrared assisted night vision. Then we have a button there at the bottom. It lights up so you can see the doorbell button at night. And on the bottom of the guy, there is a little speaker port. So there is two-way communication. So when somebody rings your doorbell, you can converse with them, letting them know if you're home, busy, come in, leave a package, whatever it may be. One thing that I heard after covering it at CES was how thick and large the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell seemed to be. So here I have a couple competitors. This is the Netatmo Smart Video Doorbell right here. This is the Arlo one. I've been using the Arlo one for quite a while now. Little dusty. And you can see there's not really a huge difference in size between all of these doorbells. The Wemo one is pretty much as thick as the other ones tend to be, maybe a little bit thicker right at the top where the camera lens is, but that's it. It's actually shorter than the Netatmo one and even a little bit shorter than the Arlo one. This is not a really big doorbell. What I think happened that a lot of people thought the doorbell looked so thick was that Belkin was posting a lot of images on its angled base plate. Most video doorbells come with an angled base plate that you can install to make sure that it's pointing directly in front of your door where someone may be approaching. And when you put that on, it looks a whole lot thicker. Look at how thick this guy looks, compared to just that. It definitely adds a lot of girth to this camera. So if you stick with the plain faceplate, it's not going to be so thick, but anytime you use an angled wedge below your video doorbell camera, it is going to add that extra thickness. Let's talk installation. Personally, I did not use the Chime Kit installed, though it's recommended and you should follow the instructions provided in the box. It's very easy to do and should only take you a few moments. I just installed the doorbell on the outside of my house, and there's really two wires that you have to connect. They connect to the all-metal mounting plate, which is secured deeply into the side of your house. Once that is securely in place and the wires are connected, the Smart Video Doorbell simply latches over top of it and then use a Torx security screw to affix your doorbell in place. There's a couple nice things here about this installation. The screws provided are quite long, which makes it harder to pull that doorbell off of your house, especially with a metal mounting plate on the back. Then we have that security screw. Some don't use a security screw and can just be pulled off. Others use a Phillips head, which some people may happen to have in their car. But by using a security screw that requires like a star screwdriver to actually remove and install, makes it a lot less likely that some burglar is going to come up onto your house and try to take your doorbell, at least before you can yell at them through the doorbell or run to your door. And yes, Wemo does include a Wemo green colored security screwdriver to install that screw. Once you've gone ahead and installed your Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell, it is time to go through the HomeKit part. Now, we already talked about the HomeKit pairing code, but basically you just add it into the Home app and it's going to walk you through several steps of onboarding your Smart Video Doorbell. Those steps are going to include giving your doorbell a name, choosing when this camera will stream as well as when it records. You can choose between when you're home versus when you're away. Then you're going to choose who can view those streams and recordings. In this case, I want my wife to be able to view all streams and recordings, but you can limit this if you need to. Then it'll turn on or off facial recognition. It'll actually use the faces recognized in your Photos app to determine who is at your door, which I think is extremely smart, but you can turn that off if you don't want to use it. And then it'll offer who should recognize those familiar faces, only me or everybody in the house. Following that, you have your chime options. You can chime any available HomePod in your home. So when someone presses your doorbell, your HomePod will ring. Or you can let this ring the actual chime that's provided in your house, or you can turn either of those off. HomeKit will then offer up some helpful suggestions for Wemo automations. In my case, how about when motion is detected, turn on the living room lights. Now, if I had this on my porch room and I had porch lights, I could do the same, and which is what I actually do. So when someone approaches my porch and the Wemo video doorbell detects motion, I turn on the porch lights. That way I can better see who's at the door. Finally, the doorbell has been added to your home. So how well does the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell actually work? As an Apple user, I appreciate what Belkin has done here. They've designed this doorbell exclusively for Apple users, and the closest competition in the Apple space has to be the Logitech Circle View video doorbell, and there are a few key differences between these two. But there's a lot to love with HomeKit, and I don't want to touch on them all in this video because it's a lot of features. But just hitting the highlights, some of the things that I love most are the fact that it works easily with all of your Apple devices. You can hear chimes on your HomePods, you can get activity and motion alerts on your Apple TV, and it can tie into your photos to let you know who's at your door before they even press the button. On top of that, HomeKit stores all of your videos within the Home app, and you don't need any additional subscription outside of your iCloud subscription. Other benefits include activity zones where you can cut down on errant notifications by only getting motion alerts for a specific area of video. It's incredibly secure and private and encrypted all on your local networks. And you have the benefits of filtering out your notifications. Only get notified if there's animals, vehicles, people, packages, or any subset of those. Apple has done a great job of adding new features to HomeKit, and I'm excited to see what other ones may be coming down the line. Beyond that, there's a lot to love that Belkin did specifically. Belkin is one of the first, if not the first, third-party accessory maker for HomeKit that will allow firmware updates to be manually installed through the Home app. There's no Belkin Wemo app necessary, and in fact there is a Wemo app, and this will specifically not work with it. It'll only work within the Home app, and I love that. And that 178-degree field of view is pretty awesome. Take a look at this sample footage. It's just great. You can see a ton here. There's everything on my porch, from the entirety of the doormat where a package would be set all the way to the ceiling. And I've had times where people have put packages on my doorstep and I couldn't see them because of the doorbell camera I had installed, and I had no idea a package was sitting on my porch. Belkin has solved this problem with a really expansive field of view. Belkin also has infrared night vision. This differs from Logitech, which is using color night vision and a little light bar that'll help illuminate what's on screen. And I think each of these has their benefits. At night, I do think the Logitech looks better if something is up close because you have full color night vision. But if anything is at all further away, you can't really see it if it's not in that light. The infrared night vision does a better job, and I can see almost a lot of my driveway there. And I think it does a better job of detecting motion stuff at night because it's just a better field of view. So it really is going to depend maybe on your installation, where it is, and which one makes sense for you. If you prefer the color night vision that's a little bit closer, or that wider field of view and that infrared night vision. You can see what night vision looks like here on the Wemo, and it's good, it's reliable, it's nice, it's going to detect motion. But I think what's best to do is when you do detect motion using that sensor is turning on those porch lights. That way you get a clear shot in full color of what's going on. There are only a couple negatives that I've got on the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell. First is HDR. HDR is only okay. You can't really see a ton of details when you're farther apart and it's very backlit. For me especially, I have a covered porch, which means it's darker. And outside of that, it's lighter. So you have those high dynamic range scenarios where it's dark and very light at the same time. Depending on your porch, this may not matter. It's going to very much depend on your installation. But for me, I lose some of the detail and contrast farther away where it's just blown out. And I do see more detail looking at things like the Arlo one that I've been using before this, and even with the Logitech Circle View. So it's going to depend on your installation, but I think it's important to note that the HDR there is lacking just a bit. The other downside here is price. At $250, it's $50 more expensive than the Logitech Circle View Smart Video Doorbell. And for a lot of people, that can be important. I think that the wider field of view is worth the additional money for the Belkin version, but it is more expensive than other options out there, especially if you went for something like the Arlo that is only $200 and works with HomeKit, but not HomeKit Secure Video. So it could end up costing you more if you're paying for that Arlo subscription. Either way, I very much like the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell. This is the widest field of view that I've tried. It has exclusive HomeKit support and the most HomeKit features of any other doorbell out there. If you are looking for possibly the best smart video doorbell for Apple users, I think Wemo's got you covered. Let me know what you guys think at Twitter at Andrew_OSU, and if you'd like to grab the Belkin Wemo Smart Video Doorbell for yourself, you can find a link down below in the description.